What is up everybody, AJ here, and in today's video we are going to be checking out the Brydge keyboard for the Surface Pro X. If you're not familiar with Brydge, here is a very quick recap for you. They started back in 2012 as a company making third-party keyboards for the iPad, and fast forward 10 years later they've sold over 500,000 products, and they now make a range of different third-party accessories for both Apple and Windows PCs. What we have here today in front of us is the Brydge Surface Pro X Plus keyboard. This is the version 1. If you look into the Bluetooth settings, it retails for about 230 Aussie dollars, and I've been using it for a while now to make my Surface Pro X more of a regular laptop than the two-in-one with the Surface Pro type cover. I figured it is a good time to give you guys my thoughts on the Brydge keyboard to let you know how this keyboard performs over the regular Surface Pro X keyboard, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and most importantly, would I recommend it to you? I think the first thing I want you to know about the Brydge keyboard is that it actually has Microsoft's Design for Surface Range stamp of approval, which means that it has been tested and approved by Microsoft as a good or great third-party accessory for their Surface lineup. Having the manufacturer or the OEM stamp of approval on any accessory is really important because it means that it's been tried and tested, and the OEM thinks, hey, this is a good third-party accessory that we would happily have attached to our products. So before I get into reviewing the keyboard for you, I just want to take you through a bit of the keyboard itself and how it compares to the Pro X keyboard. So let's actually just grab the original Pro X keyboard with the type cover, pull it off, and this is beautiful because Microsoft makes sure that that magnet is nice and strong, and it's really easy for you to remove the keyboard from the Pro X, and that's with the Microsoft type cover. On the Brydge keyboard, it is a little bit more finicky because Microsoft doesn't allow any other third party to use the same Surface Connect. So Brydge have had a little bit of an invention in that it has these clamps at the back here, and the Pro X just slides onto the keyboard here, which means it's a little bit harder and I guess a little less elegant to take it off. But honestly, it's really not too much of a pain. If I look at the Brydge keyboard here, what I see is a keyboard with almost the exact same specs and size as the Surface Pro X keyboard. It is a Bluetooth connection that is rated for 6 months of standby usage or about 40 hours of active usage with the keyboard at full brightness. The keyboard has actually 3 settings, just like the Surface Pro keyboard, of low, medium, and high brightness, and of course you can turn brightness off altogether. It has a USB-C adapter on the right hand side that allows you to charge it up. Unfortunately, like I said, Microsoft doesn't allow that proprietary Surface Connect charger, so you do have to charge the Brydge keyboard. I've found I charge it maybe twice a week, but that's because I've been using it quite heavily for 40 hours of work, and then I've been using it as my main computer as well. So this thing is really getting quite a workout. Looking around the rest of the body of it, it's nothing but a nice solid keyboard. Comparing the weight though, the keyboard is almost 3 times as heavy as the Surface Pro X keyboard from Microsoft. This thing weighs in at just under 700 grams. So when you do add it to the Surface Pro X, the Pro X itself with the Brydge keyboard weighs almost 1.4 kilos. So it goes from a really light two-in-one device to a bit heavier of a laptop. But honestly, I still have no problem throwing this in and out of my bag. But it does take away a bit of, I guess, that sleekness in terms of the design. And it is just a heavier bundle overall. But what it does do, what it really allows me to do is grab my Pro X, slide it in ever so slightly, and turn my Pro X into more of a clamshell laptop. When the laptop is, or when the Surface Pro X is in the keyboard, you can go from closed as a clamshell all the way up to about 180 degrees flat. And if you wanted to turn it into a two-in-one, you're simply just going to pull it off, and there is your Surface Pro. So you can write, draw, use it as a tablet as you would. From the front, it almost looks like a complete laptop. It's a bit hard to tell that it is actually a laptop pushed into a keyboard, but when you're looking at it from the sides and from the back, you do actually notice, it might be a bit hard from the camera angle there, but you do notice that it really is just a tablet sitting in this wedge here. It doesn't bother me at all. Yes, it does take away a bit of the sleekness of it. Being able to convert my Surface Pro into a laptop has been pretty invaluable now that I'm traveling around a bit more for work. In terms of comparing the Brydge keyboard to the Pro X keyboard, for a few things, especially the typing experience, I would have to say that I was very surprised with how nice the typing experience is on the Brydge keyboard. The layout is a full-size keyboard, and yes, it has nice travel, but a few things that I think Microsoft has done better is the fact that this Brydge keyboard, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but It's kind of noisy and kind of clacky when you're typing away on it. And of course the palm rests don't feel anywhere near as premium. They feel like a soft, cheap plastic compared to either the microfiber or the Alcantara that you get with the Surface Pro X keyboard. Overall, I've been really impressed with the typing experience of the Brydge keyboard. The fact that it Bluetooths up to my device also means that I can actually have my keyboard separated from my computer and I can be typing away, so it's connected via Bluetooth. But one thing I have noticed is that if I have the Brydge keyboard plugged into a smart dock like the Surface dock or any sort of docking station for charging, I have to then repair it. But if I plug it just into my phone charger and it just is, I guess, a dumb charger, it charges the battery and the Bluetooth connection stays there. To do the pairing though is really quite simple. In the top right hand corner, you have the little Bluetooth symbol. You hold that for a couple of seconds and Windows 10 Smart Connect pops up. It says, hey, there's a keyboard. Would you like to connect? You say yes, put in a few numbers and off you go. My biggest gripe with the Brydge keyboard has to be around the Surface Pen. Microsoft has done an amazing job with the Pro X and the Surface Slim Pen by having it magnetically hide and charge in the cradle on the Surface Pro X keyboard, so that when I need my pen, I know it's always there, it's always charged, and it's always with my device. But unfortunately on the Brydge keyboard, there is nowhere to put my pen. It also means that if I'm using the Slim Pen from the Surface Pro X, I have nowhere to charge it either, so this thing will run out of battery quite quickly. My only workaround here is I throw a regular Surface Pro pen into my backpack, but then I lose the sleekness of having my pen always handy. And of course, it's just a few extra steps. So here's me going to take notes using the Microsoft type cover. Simply grab your Pro, flip it around. Your pen is already in there. Just pull it out and you're ready to start writing away. Easy as. When you're done, the pen magnetizes back into its spot. Cover it up. It's charging and it's a neat little package. Cool. Got the Brydge keyboard. First, I've got to disconnect the Pro. So it's not as smooth, but it's still quite nice. Move the keyboard to the side. Then I got to figure out where my pen is. Got to go grab the Surface Pro pen out of my bag. Hopefully I haven't forgotten it. And then I can start taking notes. So if you are going to use the Brydge keyboard and the Surface Pro pen, I want you to know that you need somewhere for your pen to go, because I'd hate for you to be losing it just because you've swapped keyboards out. So I want to also answer the question of why would you want to use, or why would you want to turn your Surface Pro X into a regular clamshell laptop instead of using it as a twin-one with the type cover as Microsoft intended it to be? Well, if you're like me, the Surface Pro X is your favorite device. I love the screen on it. I love how lightweight it is. I love the pen experience on it. And because I travel quite a bit, and yes, we've started traveling quite a bit here in Australia again for work, I love the fact that it's connected to 4G LTE, so I'm always connected to the internet. But with all the travel that I do, I find that having the Surface Pro X keyboard can sometimes be a little bit annoying when I'm not at a desk. It could be that I'm working, I could be at an airport with the device on my lap. I could be somewhere where I don't have a sturdy desk for my Pro X to sit on. And for this reason, I decided to test out the Brydge keyboard to convert my Pro X, which still has the amazing screen, great battery life, 4G connectivity, but give me the option of turning it into a bit of a clamshell laptop as well. And what I found is that it adds a little bit more weight, but honestly, having the ability to put this thing on my lap is just so good when I don't have a desk around. The biggest drawback is I'm a very big pen fan, and unfortunately there is nowhere for the pen to go. So I did have to change my workflow a little bit by putting in my regular Surface pen into my bag and making sure I pull that thing out when I need to use the pen. So that is just something that maybe they'll fix in version 2, but that is my biggest gripe right now with the Brydge keyboard. Being able to convert it from a laptop to a tablet to a laptop again is actually a lot easier and a lot nicer than I thought it would be. And it sort of reminds me of my Surface Book here, that when I've got the Pro X in the keyboard, it just slides straight into these two little grooves and it's in there quite nice and tight. I can even grab it from the Pro and the keyboard's just going to slide with me and it's not actually going to fall. But if I wanted to convert this from the laptop that it is now into a twin-one, just like on the Surface Book, but without having to press a disconnect button, I recommend putting one thumb firmly in the center of the Brydge keyboard, grabbing it by the right-hand corner or the opposite corner, and then just lifting from one side to the other, sort of rocking it out, and you've got yourself your two-in-one tablet here. Putting it in, super simple. You just slide it straight in. Maybe if you haven't done it properly, just push it over, and then it turns back into a nice laptop. So I think the main question is, would I recommend the Brydge keyboard over the Microsoft Surface type cover? And I think the answer is, it depends. If you're like me and you love the Surface Pro X, you love that it's always connected, it's got the 4G connectivity, you love using it as a tablet, but you don't use the pen all that much, I think the Brydge keyboard really gives you the best of both worlds. But if you're using the pen quite a bit, if you like the fact that you want a device that's super slim, has the pen always handy, and you know what, you're always at a desk, or 99% of the time you have a sturdy table around you, I'd recommend the Surface Pro X keyboard because it is a nicer overall package. It magnetizes together and it's simply built for it, and it is a complete bundle. If you're traveling around quite a bit like me and you don't always have that sturdy keyboard, I think the Brydge keyboard is definitely something that you should consider. So I'm a big fan of the Brydge keyboard. I also love the Pro X keyboard, and I'm sorry I can't give you a clear-cut answer of which one is better, because I think it really depends on what your scenario is, and if you want it to be a clamshell laptop, or if you find the slim light package with access to the Surface Pen a much better value proposition to having a lappable device. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, let me know by dropping a comment in the section down below, and of course hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.